Okay, so we're going to pick up where we left off at in the previous class with our Frank demo. Alright, so Frank this is where he currently is. As usual, we can go into our texture tools, reference views, and then reduce our model opacity, and we can see what our model looks like. Today I just kind of wanted to continue with his body, maybe do some of his clothes, and then we will go on from there, and then we'll wrap up probably next class with his hair and stuff like that. Alright, so with characters like this, there's a few ways to approach, right? Like clothing and things like that. Alright, so let us do just that. And you know, he kind of makes it a little easier because like he's kind of a patchwork of different things. Even his clothing is like kind of patchy and put together, right? Like it's like you can see the stitching. So that's some of the things that we'll do later on. Is like I'll show you how to do some of those kind of detail things where you can, you know, do the stitching and the cuts and things like that. But yeah, let's do that. So I'm going to go back to my texture, and then I'm just going to increase my model opacity, and then just go to my subtools, my geometry, make sure that I can do what I'm trying to do. I just want to pull BMV, that's my move tool. Just want to move some of this stuff, down. Alright, I'm going to turn this. Alright, so I guess today what I'm going to show you guys how to do is like how to create extra pieces. And I think I've already shown you guys how to do some of this stuff, in the sense of like we're going to be creating meshes, extracted meshes. Just shift to smooth it out. Let's look at my topology. It's getting pretty up there. Right, it's getting pretty up there. Shift to kind of smooth it out. Okay, so there's a few ways to kind of start this. Let's pull some of this out. Okay, so there's one or two things I can do, which is I can, because obviously he's got arms in here, So let's do actually BCB for a second, or actually BDS. I wanted to actually just reduce the intensity. Alright, so for you guys who have been telling about that muscle, so this is, it goes from back of the ear and it attaches right at the clavicle right there. Just wanted to kind of show you guys what I'm talking about. Right, you can see that it's kind of, they're kind of showing it right there. Alright. So the first thing we're going to have to notice is, alright, look, we've got an undershirt, we've got some of these gears, and then we've got this jacket. Alright, so there's a few ways to address it. You can either, right, you can either BCB, right, try to draw the shirt like this, right, and this would work, this would satisfy, like this would technically satisfy. But if we want to be a little more accurate with it, what we can do is we can make ourselves a shirt. And it doesn't have to always be a full shirt, right? Some people, like, if I don't know, unless it's gonna be like a game or something, like I would maybe then do the full mask. But if it's just gonna be something that I'm gonna tuck under this jacket, right? It's gonna be like one of those, I don't know who wears this. Somebody, I can't remember what show that I watch. He wears like a fake shirt underneath or something like that. I can't remember. But it doesn't have to be a full shirt. Right, we're just gonna make an extracted mesh from this. Another thing that I'm noticing now is, let's go BCB. I really didn't give him any like pectorals or anything, so I might want to maybe, you know, they kind of attach to the top of the shoulder. Let me open up my pure ref so I can get my references up. It's always nice to have refs. Okay. And what you want to remember about these muscles is that this is really kind of pulls into, so these go under your the muscles in your shoulder, right? So these go under, and then these kind of lay on top. And you can see how outlining the anatomy itself will really help you to kind of get the clothing right and get the sculpt and everything else right. Right, you don't have to go all the way with it, right? You don't have to do like a full like anatomical crochet model, or you know, but understanding the underlying anatomy will definitely help get your sculpt to a better place. This is went from Frankenstein to the Incredible Hulk real quick, didn't it? Alright. So I'm just going to smooth all of it out. The idea is I want it to be there, but not really be there. I'm going to kind of box it out at the end of it. Like I said, it's supposed to just be a bust. There you go. All right. I just want to go back and look at my texture, look at my reference. There we go. This will help me to kind of create the edge. There we go. Now I can go to my subtools. I'm going to extract. I'll see what it looks like. Let's try to see what it looks like. Extract. That is not bad, but I might use this for the second one. So let's do 0.01. And let's do extract. Let's accept this one. And then you can BPM. BP. Oh, sorry. Not M. BPO. And then I'm just going to use that to polish some of this. These edges. Okay. We're automatically going to have our borders in there. Let's go here, and I'm going to do geometry. Let's do retopology first. Let's retopology. Let's see. I do want to. Let's do zremesh. Let's do the same amount. Keep the creases. And zremesh this. Okay, that's not bad. Okay. So for this, you can see he's got this kind of like, this kind of puffy kind of collar there. So let's do polygroups. Actually, regroup by edges, just like that. Kind of want to group. I want to group that together. Okay. This thing is hanging up so hard. Go back to our geometry. I'm going to divide it. Okay, let's go to stroke. Let's turn on my lazy mouse, and then I want to do something that's, here we go. Just a little bit more. So, if I wanted to like increase like the hardness of this edge for the mask, I could hit 1 on my keyboard. Or if I do like something like that, I do 1 on my keyboard a couple of times, it'll just duplicate that the stroke I just did. There's 2 ways you can do this. So I can try this. So I'll just try a couple of methods, and I'll show you guys the. So I can inflate balloon, which kind of works, and then I can do like either smooth or where's polish. Let's do polish. There you go. And what that does is it kind of smooths out the features of that for our little and then I can go shift, that's my smooth, and I just want to smooth all of this out while my mask is still on. Alright, BCB, maybe fill in this a little bit. Alright, increase my smoothing all the way, and then maybe smooth it right back out. Right. Then you can do BDS, right? To maybe it's kind of like that. You can do. This is too much. then BCB, and then you just maybe take this down to 1. Then you're just giving yourself a little bit more to work with. Oops, upside down there. Okay, so that's one way to do it. So another way to do this would be to go back to your geometry subtools and then extract this. Alright, so this would make it, let's do extract, accept. This would make it its own kind of mesh, right? And then you would just so there's, you know, there's good and bad with every, you know, there's good, and it's just about knowing the technique. I don't know why this thing keeps freezing up. Then if I wanted to clean this up, I can go to my geometry, and then I will do maybe half, z-remesh it. Smooth this out. Alright, smooth. I might need to restart ZBrush. Maybe z-remesh it again in half. The less geo you have, the easier it is to manipulate the mesh. And you would do the same thing for the coat as well. Z-remesh it again, make it another half, Z-remesh it again. This just makes it so much easier to work with. Alright, so there's two ways I just showed you. You can sculpt it into the mesh, or you can generate another extract mesh from it that you can still do the same thing to. Alright, and then you can start the BDS and then do your... Alright, at this point it's your preference as to what you think looks better. Right, but at least you'll have that in your back pocket. I'm just gonna run through this real quick. All right. All right, so let's we can isolate this guy. Solo. And this time I just want to make the jacket opening. So I'm just gonna either Control Alt and kind of take away what I don't want. Oh, it's got an open back jacket. It's a new fashion. Very high fashion, this guy. So I'm just going to go back to my stroke, texture, reduce it once again just so I can see through. There we go. Just want to make sure that kind of in the right ballpark of where that needs to go. Like so. See, and I was guessing all the way out. There we go. As you guys can see, I still have my lazy mouse on. It just helps make it a lot more clean. And then I can extract it once again in my subtool. To 0.03 and then extract. I'm going to accept it. And then let us go to this guy once again. This time I want to look at the pattern of his, there we go. Well, now he's a lumberjack. I'm gonna reduce the opacity just a little bit so I can see. Alright. Okay. So now I can use this to create it doesn't have to be perfect this time around, like in the sense that like it doesn't have to be like 1000% on the mark, unless it's like for a game or something, but like just to get my sculpt right, like I just want to get it very close to it. There you go. And then I can go to the back like so. Let's return my texture back to 100% opacity. Increase my brush size here so I can easily clean up this extra mess. The extra stuff can go. Clean this up a little bit. There we go. Doing a little bit more cleanup. You know, I've got this little hiccup right here. I'll clean it up. Right? I'm not gonna be that lazy. I'll clean it up. It's not a must because I'm still gonna retopologize it, but it'll go a long way if I'm not having to do too much in post. There's a lot of guys that, you know, fix it in post. Nah, you know, you can't fix it in post. Alright, so we've got our little, I don't know what they call it, the flappy part of the jacket. It's the technical name, obviously, flappy. We're going to do, instead of 0.03, we're going to do 0.04. And then we're going to extract and hit accept. Got some thickness going on here. And now what I can do is, in my deformation, what I'll go do is I'll hit polish, turn that polish on. Nope. Polish by feature. Give it a second. Let's do polish crisp edges. Okay. And if that doesn't work, I'll do shift. So let's do that. Alright. No, it's too much. There you go. So you get kind of like a cleaner edge here, you know, and eventually we're gonna want to let's go back into our geometry. Let's look at our polygroups. These polygroups don't really make any sense, so If we regroup by edges, this is probably a little better. Let's do group by normals. This is the best one, because then what this allows you to do is then Control and Shift, when you click on one, it lets you isolate that piece. Alright, Control Shift, click, it'll bring all the other pieces back. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my subtool, my geometry here, and then I'm going to do same, and then I'm going to go keep my groups, which is going to keep these poly groups intact, and then I'm going to remesh it. Alright, so I'm already getting a better result based on that. So I'm going to turn off viewing my poly groups here, and now I can unsolo everything so we can see what's going on. Alright, so we've kind of got everything doing its thing. Right now I might want to go in, Shift, Smooth, Shift, Smooth, all of this stuff that's going on right here. Alright, Frank is starting to look a little more dapper. And I think this would probably be a good stopping point for today. We've kind of made the extractions for our clothing, and this thing is really chugging along, really chugging. I'm just gonna hide that. So now it looks like it's like one piece. One piece. I'm sorry guys, it's a long day. It's been a long day. Okay. So today we worked on extract meshes for our character. Next week we're going to work on adding some basic some of the basic work. Will finalize the face as well, because there's still a lot of issues that I can see when I look around. So it's kind of Gumby-ish when I look right here. So maybe next week we'll go in, we'll finalize this BCB, as I BDS. That's our Damien Standard tool. And then maybe I'm just trying to do the nostril. I'll show you guys how to do nostril work. Control, move, and then maybe smooth this back out. Alright, so things like that, little things like that. We'll polish off some of these other pieces. We'll polish off the mouth, and hopefully my computer won't be acting like a complete and utter buffoon at that point. So yeah, we will do that all next class. I mean, it's coming along for sure. It's coming along. Once you start adding these the accoutrements, and that's why you want to work big first before you focus on the detail. You want to get like the big things out of the way. Not only will it give you like a sense of completion and like a sense of like, ooh, I'm moving in a direction, you'll also get to see how everything is starting to really fit together, right? So, all right. So whenever you guys are done, remember, snap me like a good BPR render of it, right? So I get a good basic render of what our model looks like. All right. That is going to be it for today's class. So look out for your reviews, and then look out for next week's class. We're going to be switching to Teams for security purposes. We've gotten like a pretty much like a cease and desist from the school for using Discord, so we're definitely gonna have to comply with that. And yeah, so look out for that. I'll send out an email of where you guys can go to find our new discussion board and where you're going to be posting your stuff from now on, so you guys can get feedback from each other. I know Teams isn't as like personable. It doesn't feel as like cool, I guess, as